Tuscaloosa County Sheriff Ted Sexton joins us now with an update. Sheriff, I know you're exhausted. Thank you for coming down here tonight.
Y'all have been working so hard. Tell us a little bit about what you've been seeing over the past 72 hours.
I think what I've seen is a number of people try to organize chaos. It's been a very dynamic, fluid, catastrophic event. I've seen it, again, just very similar. You asked a question about Katrina. Yes, it was very similar. I've seen the best in people, and again, sometimes you see the worst. Fortunately, a lot of good things came out. We had one incident where myself and other deputies were under a house for about 3 hours trying to get 4 folks out. Unfortunately, we didn't get 3 of them out alive. We got 1 out. So we've done things that we don't normally do. We find ourselves in different positions, and my heart goes out to all those folks, the 39 families that lost loved ones. And then as a resilient community, we need to move forward. And I urge people to be patient. This is not going to be something that's in the internet world where you expect an answer today. There's going to be a recovery period here, and where all the government officials working with the private businesses and so on move forward in the structure. You know, President's been here, Craig Fugett's been here, Secretary Napolitano's in Birmingham tomorrow. There's just been a number of challenging issues that we faced. I think one of the things that you are getting ready to ask me is about Los Angeles County Sheriff's Office. And the first night we found ourselves dealing with a Hispanic population that was injured, children injured, just something that we don't normally find ourselves involved with, where normally we don't have that much contact with them. This time we needed to have contact with them, and not having the number of Spanish-speaking deputies. Lee Baca who's the sheriff in Los Angeles, was talking with me just a short time after I'm sorry, my days are running together too.
That's okay.
But I think it was Thursday morning I talked to Lee, and he was talking to me about some of the significant challenges. I just told him about our incidents with the Hispanics, and he was kind enough to send us 4 deputies right away, Spanish-speaking deputies.
Do you still need, I know that there was a need for Spanish-speaking people in the community to help. Do you still need that, that need?
Well, we have, actually with the help of Steve Anderson and the Spanish-speaking officers, we had a task force. They met with some 200 Hispanics in the community today, and right now, folks are addressing an issue in Montgomery with immigration. Our issue right now is to help people in need, including those that have been injured. So we had the opportunity to visit, but that's just part of the outreach. There's a number of things you do in a different fashion in a time of need, and right now we're in a definite time of need.
Definitely.
Sheriff, when people start going back to work on Monday, what are some of the challenges your department's going to face?
Well, the courts are going to be open. There's 30,000 folks roughly that have been affected by this, and it goes through the city limits of Tuscaloosa and goes through Holt, and it goes another 25 miles up to the county line and into Birmingham. So our challenge is not only the whole community and what have you, but it goes all the way to the county line. So our resources are spread out, and we're using mutual aid and National Guard teams. And of course, we're the host for Region 3. They wanted us to go to Coleman that day. They asked if we would consider going to Coleman, but we held our resources to see what happened. And of course, we got hit. Right. But courts open Monday. The civil process businesses, there's 170-some thousand other folks in this community that are going to be looking for services. And so the challenge is, how do you take care of those 30,000 affected? How do you continue to provide service to the rest of the county that will be looking for services?
I asked the mayor this, I'll ask you too. Really, a lot of people want to get out and see the destruction firsthand, that sort of thing, but really the best advice you guys can give is for folks just to stay home right now.
Well, they're actually hindering the process. Right now, if they didn't have their power, they'd be upset if folks were riding through, taking pictures of their home. We saw this 2 weeks ago down in the southern part of the county. So when they get out gawking, they are holding up emergency vehicles. We still have gas leaks in the community in several of these areas. It's not a safe area to be in. You've seen fires, you've seen other issues that can come up, but we would just urge people, the damage isn't going to go anywhere. It's going to be quite some time before it's removed, but we need to get power restored. There are a lot of people that don't have power here, and the more they hold up the power company, the more they hold up this process, the more that we have to take police resources and law enforcement resources to control traffic. We're not being able to help other people.
And you've worked with the Department of Homeland Security. You've worked on a national level. You've seen a lot. How does this disaster compare to maybe other disasters you've seen on a national scale?
Well, you asked, does this compare with Katrina? The damage is very much like Katrina, except Katrina was the size of the state of Tennessee. This is 190 some miles through Alabama at about a mile to a mile and a half swath, and it took everything in that area. And I've had the opportunity to fly the devastated areas, and this is probably the worst that I have seen. The only other thing that I can think of that comes close to this type of damage is Katrina.
Wow, I think that might put it in perspective with the magnitude that we're dealing with.
Well, I think one thing that, when you go to, the tornado actually touches down right around the county shop and the Humane Center. That's where you see it starting to come down, then Tamco, but the first damaged area was on Moody Swamp Road. And it's actually coming down. You can see it. But for as far as you can see all the way to the horizon,
wow,
is damage.
Where were you when it touched down?
The sheriff's office. We were unfortunately watching another channel. But, we
don't need to talk about that.
We won't talk about it. But we were watching the tornado, and you could see what was happening. But we knew right away that it was a situation that was going to of a catastrophic event. And of course, we knew the city communications had been affected because their 911 calls roll to us anytime that's just a redundant system. And when we started getting those 911 calls, we knew right off the bat it was a bad situation.
And as soon as you knew that, I'm sure your office sprang into action. It was like clockwork, right?
We did. But, one thing I've got to compliment, the mayor has done an outstanding job. All parties, sheriff's deputies, law enforcement, fire service, so on and so forth. This is a very difficult, challenging situation. But I got to compliment Steve Anderson. He has just been an outstanding partner to work with, and we have been in constant communications, making sure that resources that we might need or equipment or whatever has been taken care of and working together.
I just have kind of a random question, I guess. When you were talking about watching the tornado, obviously, deputies are all over the county. Do you call them into the central office, or do you have them in safe places around the county, or what do you do?
No, we spread deputies out. As a matter of fact, we had deputies. That was the third tornado of the day. We started off at 5 in the morning. Then you had, but we had deputies that were responding to incidents up in the northern part of the county actually first. But we have an automatic vehicle locator, and we're tracking the storm, on WVUA or. And so we are tracking, and we can see them on the AVL. And so if they are in a line, we're moving them out. But they are sounding their sirens and trying to warn as many people as possible. But just like in this situation, just within seconds after, for example, Holt was hit, we had deputies on scene.
Wow. Amazing. Well, any other questions, Sean?
No, I was just going to ask. I mean, I know you guys go through extensive training and stuff, and this is the reason why, right? This is the worst case scenario.
Well, folks have talked to me often about my time at DHS or what we've done, or the mutual aid teams, which we started 10 years ago. All those things, and we've always talked about preparing for the worst, hoping for the best, and this is one of those times where, again, our community is actually very well prepared when you look at other communities across the country in what we have done for preparation. In Alabama, also with Be Ready Alabama, and a lot of the things that have been done through the Alabama Department of Homeland Security. But this is a catastrophic event that I would be surprised if anybody would have stood up and said, I expect something like this. But it was interesting that day, and I'm sure that your weatherman may talk about it, but when the Weather Service puts out the possibility, 45% chance of horrendous tornadoes that would stay on the ground, widespread, long-running tornado, in a 9 on the Torcon, we had an idea that we were going to see some activity, but I never expected anything like this.
Wow.
Sheriff Ted Sexton, I know it's been a busy couple of days for you. I know you're tired. We appreciate you coming by tonight.
Thank you for allowing us to come on.
Anything else you want to share with the viewers before we wrap up the interview?
Well, I think that you're on point with those that want to get out and ride. I would just ask them, let's do it maybe midweek. Let the power company get back in there, and also let's please be patient.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.